The question is Enrique Peña Nieto his own man, skilled politician, energetic, or is he the facade, the face of the old PRI? The good, the positive indicators of an independent man is the people he's gathered around him. Well-educated, technocrats, young, understanding the United States and understanding the need that Mexico has to modernize in the global competitive world. So at the outset, this is a new PRI and this is a new Mexico. But we cannot, as you've suggested, forget that the people who place Peña Nieto on the route to the presidency are still around. And we have to watch and listen to those indications of tension within the party, at the back room, between the old-timers and the modernizers. We are not dependent on that oil, although there is a preference in the US government to purchase oil from within our hemisphere and to be less dependent on the Middle East. So if Mexico produces more oil, we therefore have more oil for refining, processing, and purchasing. It is in our interest. It is also not in our interest to see poor Mexico, because the consequence of poor Mexico is more Mexicans coming north in search of work. So our interest is a wealthy, prosperous, and stable Mexico. Mexicans voted for Peña Nieto because he promised to curb the violence in their communities. Robbery, extortion, petty kidnapping, those are rampant throughout the nation, not just the trafficking routes. And Mexicans are scared. So they voted for somebody who promised to give less attention to drugs and more attention to common crime. Now, is this a zero sum? If I devote more police and intelligence forces to common crime throughout the country, does that mean less for drugs? And if it's less for drugs, what does the US respond? Because it's not in our interest to start fighting with these guys on our side of the border. So there's an intrinsic tension that exists between fighting common crime throughout the country and engaging and countering drug trafficking organizations who move the stuff up to the United States. That tension we're going to see. Corruption is so pervasive within Mexican political circles, its police, and in certain areas, the army, that Peña Nieto has to confront this. In other words, based on well-founded evidence, he needs the ability to arrest and begin prosecutorial plans, processes against them. If he does that, he will show the nation, the Mexican people, that he is independent and tough. If he fails to do it, it will raise the suspicion that he wishes to protect old interests. So the test for me about whether this man is his own man, modernizer, young, is going to be his willingness to go after corrupt senior officials.